I wonder if they see the sparkle in your eyes. I wonder if they know that I'm not your guy. I wonder if they see that you don't belong to me. Wish that you could be mine.
Welcome everybody to another episode of Therapy Without a Degree. Chapter 195, chapter 196, one of those. We're getting close to the 200s, almost 200 episodes.
That's a lot of episodes.
Yeah, we've been working. We got myself, Joe Fucarino's in the building. Then we have across from me Zain. I am Zain Studios.
How's it going, everybody?
We brought him out here to LA. All right. And then we have to the right of me, amazing guest. We got Lyric Perez.
Hi. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Thanks for having me.
Yes, God, no, you can clap. Let it know. We have an audience. There we go. Yes, let's go. And by the way, those shoes are fire. And I'm blind, and they're fire from here, so I can just imagine, like, if I was up close and I could actually see them, like, I bet even more fire. Later, I want to check them out. So, what's up, y'all? Thank you for coming through.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Word.
I like the name of your podcast, Therapy Without a Degree.
Thank you. Yeah, the whole message behind it is because there's so many things that are therapeutic. You know what I'm saying? That we could do, and conversations that are therapeutic. Like, you're like, I think like you're a therapist. Like your content that you post on your page. Like, I don't know if you realize it. Like, the stuff that you put out is so therapeutic to others to be able to read and self-assess and to just get into the vibes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like that is I value that.
Thank you. I make sure that I post that because sometimes I do slack. But it's only when I'm not on social media all day. So I'm not really looking at my favorite like content and things like that. But I make sure I do that because people always tell me like, thank you for posting that. It's just what I needed, you know. So I make sure I keep posting stuff like that.
No, and it's so powerful, and it's silly because we sometimes don't realize like that stuff matters. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, especially, you know, you're going through your story and you're always going to see things and people posting a bunch of nonsense and bullshit and fun stuff. And also there's, you know, educational stuff as well too. But it's like those little messages, they really, really do matter. And when you see someone like the way you do it, you're not just posting whatever, like it's very meaningful things. And it's like, that's therapeutic in itself. You know what I'm saying? Like, for someone, they could have read that message or whatever, and it really can change their perspective, because I'm big on perspective.
Right.
And the way you do that is really, really dope.
Thank you.
No
I'm glad people create like really good memes too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or like they take the time to create that content. I think is important. And I've always been into like writing about positivity or saying positive things. Like, it's just like a natural instinct in me. You know, because especially when you go through so much suffering, you want to get out of it. And when you do graduate or figure it out how to move on from something or how to heal from something, you make sure you lend that to whoever wants to receive that, you know, because there is a power of the mind that's extremely important. And we do create our own lives by way of thought, you know. So, yeah, I'm glad you like it.
Where did you like even have that? Like, where did you get that understanding from? Because that's another thing I really wanted to get to this with you too, is because I'm a firm believer of that as well. You know what I'm saying? It took me a long time to really say like, oh, I completely agree. You know what I mean? Like, you know how it is. You talk to everybody and not everybody is like, oh, okay. When did that come? Like, where did that come? Like, were you always feeling those things or what?
Well, I had an interesting upbringing, a lot of freedom as a teenager. With difficulties emotionally in my experiences, and I would question myself every time I had a transformation in my life. Like, what did I do what did I think about myself to deserve that? Or like, you know, I would really self-reflect and be by myself and ask specific questions, and I would always somehow get an answer. And certain books came to me over time, even in my early 20s. And I even chose Christianity when I was 18. And being disciplined and choosing a religion for yourself and believing in something and changing your lifestyle because you believe in something showed me the power of belief and the fact that we can change and do whatever we want if we really put our minds to it. And, you know, like I didn't smoke weed, I didn't curse, I even dressed a little bit differently. Like it was proof to me that, oh, I can create a new being within myself. And then certain books would come to me. Like I always had a thing where I would write out, like I write poetry, and I've been writing poetry since maybe 13. So it's helped me express and articulate the way that I've thought and felt. And that's been therapeutic. That was like maybe my first parts of therapy besides music, was me writing and my spirit speaking. So not even me being able to speak, but just me writing down the truth. Like you can be completely vulnerable on paper because it's just you and the paper, and nobody's judging you or telling you how to feel. Like you're saying, oh, this is who I am and this is how I feel and this is what I want from my life. And then books start coming to you. Like the more you talk to God, the more God talks to you. And books help me change my perspective. And I just read all of these books, and I learn about psychopathy, for example, or all parts of psychology. And it's always fascinated me. And I always wanted to be like a therapist somewhat, or some way, somehow. So it's just a natural thing that comes with me. If the more I change me, the more I want to lend that advice to help other people.
100%. And you know, I've been trying to do my research as well, trying to learn those different things. Like, and it's crazy because when you start, you don't realize that you're going to end up down that journey. And it's a lot of it, like you said, it's psychopathy. Psychopathy.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because there's so many different lanes to it that people don't understand. Like right now, I'm reading this book called the End to Upside Down Thinking, about like your conscience and how about, you know, you speak things into existence. And, you know, a lot of people talk about it, but once you start really, really doing it, that's when you start to see that it works. You know what I mean? And you start being very, very in tune with your spirit. Like for me, it took a couple times. And then once it was like, all right, now this is scary. You ever got to that point yet where it's like scary now?
What? Yeah, I'll give you an example. When it was scary, it was like I had two boyfriends, a couple of years with this boyfriend and a couple of years with that boyfriend. And they were very like tumultuous times and like difficult relationships. And so I remember just like, I think this was maybe the beginning of the pandemic or like April sometime last year, where I was like, all right, all these ideas that I have, I can finally do them because I have the time. So get to it. And I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to do this, but like I have to make a logo, or I have to, you know, I need this art. So I just said this big prayer. I said this big prayer where I was like, you know, please, like, just help me and I'll do it. Give me the resources and I'll do it, right? I don't know how I'm making money to be able to pay for all of this, but whatever. And then someone DM'd me that has been following me for a while, and he was an artist. He is an artist. And he wrote to me and he said, this book that you posted has changed my life. And like, I just want to say thank you, and come to my page and like pick out some art. And right. And then I was like, all right, but then I saw he did graphic design. And what I'm getting to is his name was, I told him I would give him my poetry book. I was like, let me know your address. I'll give you my poetry book. What's your name? And it's funny because he had the name of my ex, my just last ex, which, you know, wasn't a healthy relationship at all, and had the first name and the last name as his username.
The first name and the last name?
And I'm sorry, the first name and the middle name.
The middle name. Right,
which he went by. He went by those names on his social media and in real life, you know. And then I asked him what his last name was. And for some reason, while I was waiting for him to respond with the address, I started crying because I was like, if his last name is this dude's last name, oh my God, the heebie freaking jeebies, you know? And his last name happened to be the last name of the previous ex before that.
Wow.
So he had the combination of my ex-boyfriend's name helping me for free to get my business in track. And for me, it felt like the divine, like not apologizing to me, but providing forgiveness towards me and saying, here goes a gift through that. And just always reminding me that the things that I've been through aren't in vain, but that I've always been blessed after the fact, and there's always a blessing after it. So it kind of made me have peace. But it was like I'm like a magic wand. Anything that I say is going to happen, and I really have to be careful with the things that I say out loud, because it comes, whether we know we're manifesting or not. Everything that we're imagining actually exists. Some, like, we're not one multi-dimensional beings.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that point you were like, nah, I'm scared. Like, that's
It was scary, and I was like, I'm powerful. Like, I gotta remember, like, even you can manifest something like that, or you can manifest something within a year or a couple of months, or whatever your manifestation is. It just takes some time, and you have to stay somewhere. So manifestation, what is manifestation? We hear about it all the time. It's being shared all over social media. It is the power to create from the mind, right? There's a study of quantum physics. So you have spirituality and you have science to back it up, saying, oh, look, this molecule does exist or doesn't exist, and we can create and change and manipulate matter however we see fit. Whether we see a chair, we see a couch, whatever we want to create, we create. And this is science. And the same thing within the mind, right? It all starts, I have an idea. And I have an idea, I feel it in my mind's eye, I see it, and I will it to be so. And if I feel it, right, because the heart vibrates at a higher frequency than our brain does. So once I believe it and I feel into it, that's when manifestation takes place. And now it depends on how long it wants to manifest, but you have to somehow detach yourself from it, because you know that it's happening. You really got to believe that it's happening for you. And then in due time, when it's ready for you, the universe starts doing its thing. And it's like, all right, you want it. So, and all this magic starts happening, whether we realize it or not. And then it arrives somehow, and sometimes fast, and sometimes it takes some time. But you have to stay fervent in that belief that it's coming.
Do you believe that you have to be very, very direct with it? Like, because people manifest, right? And then people be like, oh, well, I want to be happy. I want to do this, or I want money, right? But I mean, I'm a believer that you have to be very, very direct. Do you think that at all, or no? How does that really work?
Absolutely.
More specific.
You have to be clear. You have to use your words wisely, because, you can say, oh, I want it to rain, like I missed the rain, I want it to rain, but then, your house floods. Or, oh, I want a relationship so bad, but you're not specific on what kind of relationship you want, and a relationship comes to you, but it's not the one that you really want. Like, you have to be clear. Everyone should be clear before they manifest. Everyone should have clarity, because how do you know what you want if you don't know what you want, right? And we have to focus on what we want and not what we don't want. It's like, what do you want? Think about the things that you want. What's going to make you feel good? To say I want to manifest being happy, you just have to choose to be happy, right? All of those things are a choice. The way that we feel and the way that we perceive, like you said, perception is a big thing. Whatever our reality is what we're creating in the moment. And it can only be real to us and nobody else. And then you'll say, nobody understands me, because you don't see and feel into my mind. But if you take the time to express the way that you think and even put logic behind it, you don't have to agree and say, this is real, this is the truth. It feels like the truth. It feels like it's real. But at any given time, I can change my perspective and change my life and change who I am and begin again. I don't have to be a part of the traumas that I've experienced and be afraid that I'm going to experience that again. I can choose what kind of life I want to create and how I want to feel at any given moment. The rooms are dressed for me, right? It's an ugly room. The shades are broken and messed up, and the couch is all uncomfortable. And then I have a beautiful room with plenty of sunlight, some beautiful flowers, comfortable couch. I choose which room I want to be in at any given moment.
And you choose also how you see it.
And you choose how you see it, how you dress it up.
I think that's just so powerful. I just really wanted to see if you agree with me on that, because I think a lot of people just don't do that. Especially because you said it's a very popular thing now on social media and whatnot. But it's like, I know, because I started doing it kind of by accident, right? So I started manifesting by accident, but kind of before even it really popped, where people were talking about it, right? And then I started noticing, wow, I'm doing something. I started noticing, but then it took me a couple of times, probably years to realize, oh, I'm not being direct enough. Like, okay, I want to bring someone into my life, but yeah, I brought them into my life, but not how I wanted them to. Or like, okay, yeah, I got rid of a car, but it got repoed, not me versus getting rid of it. To what, like those things, exactly what you said. Like you say one thing and then it goes another way.
I was so stressed last year and I was having social anxiety. Like I had thousands, 10,500 followers. Everybody, like certain people had access to me over the years because I'm kind, and sometimes I respond to the DM. If I've encouraged somebody, I'm thank you, I'm kind. And some people take advantage of you, or they take you on as a therapist, and all of these things. You almost feel bad not to respond to them, but they have nothing but time in the pandemic, and they want to talk to you. And I was like, I was stressed. I was like, I can't do this anymore. This is stressing me out. And then I woke up and my Instagram got deleted.
Wow, yeah.
And I was like, okay.
Yeah,
I was like,
nope, yo, it's crazy. Say that one more time for the people in the back. Say that one more time.
I was so up to arms. I was saying it to my friends. I was saying it out loud, and it was Halloween. And I did shrooms, and I was up laughing like till like the break of dawn, and then I tried to go onto Instagram, and it didn't let me log in, and I was locked out. And I emailed Instagram maybe 10 times, and I even tried to be like legal about it. Like, I'm using this for marketing. You're messing with my business. And like, I even found out that somebody was pretending to be me so they can do cash schemes and shit like that. And I was so stressed, and I sent that to them, and that one still exists. And I was like, all right, you know what? I'm just going to chalk it up. The universe works for me and not against me. And maybe, so what if I can't post a link in my story? I'm just gonna have to rebuild, and I can't lie. Like,
no, we're gonna rebuild right now. Go follow her right now. We're gonna rebuild.
I can't lie. It's been really nice to just refresh and reset. And now I've also stepped up my boundary. If someone, like, I attract people who are in pain, and I'm kind to people who are in pain, and I'm patient with them because I know what it's like to be in pain, and I love loving others, right? And so some people will just keep being negative in my inbox.
Oh, she's going to start that conversation.
Like, help me, like, I'm not, you can't do, that's disrespectful to someone's boundary. That's not, I get it. Like, people can't love themselves and they have a hard time, so they want to share the energy with you, like that misery loves company thing, not to judge. But it's true. We all want to be understood somehow. Whatever energy we have, we exchange with others. But I've learned how to like put that in the general inbox and just ignore that whole inbox and proceed to move forward and not respond to everybody. And, so I'm not mad.
That's a process in itself. And I think a lot of us could relate to that, because it's like, especially like you said, you said you're an empath, right? So it's like when maybe you're an empath, or when you consider yourself a healer, or just someone that just likes to be able to help people based off their experiences, right? You can get a lot of people who are they come to you to vent and stuff like that, and to ask for advice and to heal and to help them, right? But then it also gets to be sometimes exhausting on your end.
It's like a clairvoyance job. Like when a clairvoyant talks to somebody and they want answers, and then you try to give them the answers that you see, but they might not like the answer, or they try to they take from you.
It's taking. It's a big taking. Like, do you ever any experience with that at all?
I have. It always happens. So I have this thing where people will just tell me their deepest and darkest things about them, and I'm just like, I don't remember asking you that, and I just let them go, and they'll just keep on going. And I'm just like, all right, and I find a way to kind of help them out, but I'm just like, it always comes to that. If people get so comfortable, they'll just tell me that, and I'm just like, okay, I guess the great beyond wants me to kind of let them just like weed out what they feel towards me specifically, and then I try to see how I can help them out.
Yeah, because I'm also a firm believer that we go through things so we could help other people. Like, I'm a firm believer that adversity and that stuff like that is for, like you said, it's for so many different reasons that it's wild, I think. But I'm a firm believer that it's like we go through it so we could face it, get up from it, but now we need to be able to heal someone else. Like, I look at it as like angels. Like, you have to be you have to do that, because the universe can only do so much. Right. You know what I mean? But it's like, also there's a point to that. Like, you can only do so much. Right. And sometimes
And I was gonna say, it's not really our job to heal people. We're not saying, okay, I'm in service to heal others. I can be a healer, but it's what is healing, right? It's love. All I can do is love another person, and it's not like we're fixing people, or we're just sharing love and spreading love, and it's up to them to be able to heal from what, the seed that we plant, for example. Or that's why it gets taxing or draining. It's like, I share a piece with you, but you keep sharing negativity with me, and all that is frequency exchange. Like, here goes this kind of energy, and your energy is like this, whoom, whoom, whoom. And that also takes time and work. I have to wake up. Not only do I have to do my hair and take a shower and brush my teeth and all of these things, but I also have to dedicate time to meditate, so that way I can go about my day and relieve whatever trapped emotions I have in my body, or things that are stressing me. Because that's the thing, we can only see what we see as human beings, but the truth of the matter is, there's frequency and vibration in everything. Everything is moving. There's molecules within and atoms within this microphone that's moving. Nothing stays still, but it's just being held together, and it looks like this to us. But everything, if you take a telescope to it, you'll see it's like Ant-Man, like quantum physics, like everything is moving within ourselves. So we have to be aware of the spiritual realm, which not many people teach us about. Even religion, nobody really knows how to understand it. Everything is sin or not sin, and that's hell or heaven, but it's deeper than that. It's the energies that we can't see that are at work. You hear about demons, you hear about Satan, right, which is a figment of the imagination as well. Then you hear about angels, which I've read some in a book when I study angels, and I want to learn how to talk to my spirit guides, my ancestors, and work with all of the divine to assist me in life. So, I read a book that expressed that angels don't really have wings, but the Europeans depicted it that way, and they mistake the wings for their light. Like they have light energy. And so we have energies that are at force with us. We even have aliens and things out of this planet that we're at war. That's why we have so much chaos and so much to grow and learn from. And I think, they talk about how there's a consciousness shift, and that pandemic happened, and people really stopped running around and stopped working for the man, and got to really take a glimpse at, who am I? What feeds me? Oh, I do need to be in service of others somehow, or I feel depleted, right? Amongst other things. So I feel like, studying those things and learning about those things and taking the time to heal is imperative. When, right, like we might not have a degree, but we have access to all the information that's out there in order for us to grow and enjoy this life that we have.
1,000%, because now the information's out there. Like you say, you just have to educate yourself. One study that I think that you would find really interesting, and maybe anyone that's listening to this, I've said it on a pod before, but I'll definitely say it again. It's there was a study. It's actually in the book, The End Upside Down Thinking, I was telling you about. So basically, they call it photons. Photons is like basically what's made of our existence. I don't know if you ever
Neurons and photons.
Yeah, so photons is pretty much what makes it, right? So they basically took there was photons in it, and they took human DNA, and they put the human DNA in it. All the photons gravitated towards the DNA. All of them, supposedly. It went right to the DNA. Then they said, okay, we're going to take the DNA out. They took the DNA out, and you would think the photons would just go back to their original state or just go wherever. They stayed in place of where the DNA was. So that shows you how much our existence and our affects everything else, which is crazy. It was a crazy study, and he was, it goes on many other studies in that book, but to me, that was mind blowing. That shows you like what your DNA has effects on your existence. You know what I'm saying? So it's wild.
Well, we're like magnets.
Yeah.
The earth is magnetic. You have magnetic poles. Like, you've heard of the Bermuda Triangle and things like that.
What's
Triangle, like, it's pretty much made a lot of, it's like honestly like a vortex, made ships disappear in the middle of the sea and whatnot. And I believe there's something that's going on in the middle, but it's surrounded by storms. So the moment you go through, you're not coming out.
It sucks you in.
Yeah.
There's like a hollow earth, but there's like things that are living beings in the earth. Like, it's bizarre what we
Yeah.
don't we don't
Yeah.
learn.
Nah, of course, 1,000%.
We haven't fully explored the ocean yet.
No, and I would be definitely afraid to do that. That's none of my business. Was down there.
So I'm staying up here. Yo, I just learned the other day supposedly how they think the water even got here.
Wow, what they said.
I watched the video and it said that, billions and billions of years ago, big rocks or meteors, whatever you want to call it, asteroids, just kept hitting the earth constantly. And inside them were pockets of water. So supposedly that there was a very small amount of water inside of them. And they say so. So when they blasted, they hit, the water would come out.
Well, we're surrounded by different spheres of pressure, and like the ionosphere is like the last. I'm surprised about how much I know about science, by the way, because I'm just like, who am I? Like, when did I even learn math and science? I'm bad at it, but it's all. I guess science is all about like what you can remember. I'm just not good at equations and all that other stuff. I don't need to play with DNA. I don't need to be in the lab. I don't need to kill people. I'm good. But yeah, like, we're stuck by gravity. It's like going like this. And the Gravitron, you ever been on the Gravitron when you were a kid at the carnival? You're like this.
Nah, fuck that.
You're literally, we're stuck here. Like, imagine if gravity just kind of went backwards. But just pushed everyone out, right? Like, can you imagine?
They said, nah, dog. They said, nah. They said, you out of here.
But yeah, I mean, we're such small beings on this planet. I always realize that when I'm up high, and I'm like, you can imagine just how much life there is here, that we don't, or how much mystery there is in the world. Like, I love documentaries. I love learning. The more I learn, the more I'm able to transmute my suffering.
Well, then you might not be ready for the documentary me, Monty, and Zain said we might start up.
What y'all gonna document?
You want to tell them?
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
nah.
You don't want to give nobody a sneak peek?
Nah. We can't. It was that.
Pretty interesting.
It's a pretty interesting one that I was like, yo, we should start.
We felt like this is something that a lot of people would watch, and we were like, no one thought about that before.
I want to know.
Right after I think
Imani's gonna be a part of it too.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see if he really is. But I mean, I don't know. We be serious. See, that's the thing. We joke, but we're serious. Like, we'll start filming it.
Right.
I don't know if he was just shitting some giggles or not.
I have some documentary ideas too, but we'll see when I have time for all of this.
Yeah. We told he's like, Imani, you got to be the narrator. You got to be the host. So we'll see if he's really
would be a good
with it.
narrator.
We just got a green screen, so this will be a wrap.
We've been playing with this green screen like crazy. I moved. I have a whole new apartment now. Yo, but speaking of all that stuff, right? Like, so like, how did you get into like the whole film world? What started that? You know what I mean? Like, what got you into that? Because not many people are. Like, you see a lot of creators and a lot of stuff like that, a lot of artists, but it's like for the whole like film world, filmmaking, like you write as well too. Like, you're a jack of all trades.
My girlfriend just said that to me over the week.
Word.
She was like, I was just telling her that you're a jack of all trades because like I manage someone and I direct a music video. Like, there's different things that I do. I mean, let's see. I was always into creativity, and I like poetry, music. Like, those are the things that I just loved and adored. And I grew up singing, so I wanted to be a singer. And after I realized I sounded like Jennifer Lopez, I was like, I'm not gonna sing.
I was about to say, we're gonna get an exclusive.
I'm not gonna do that. Like, I don't want to be famous. Like, I kind of grew out of that, but I wanted to at least songwrite. So, and when I say I grew up singing, like, I was in special choir, chorus all my life, and a borough-wide chorus, and then I just kind of let it go when I hit my teenage years and started going through my struggles and stuff. I left kid shit alone.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, can I curse on the
Yes.
podcast?
Oh yeah,
Okay,
definitely.
cool. So basically, I dropped out of high school. Because it was just, I just couldn't catch up after a while, and like, things happened in my life, and I was like, all right, I gotta be an adult, so I gotta figure it out. So I got a GED right away, went to cooking school so I could have like a vocation, because my mom was big on like, get a vocation so you could take care of yourself, you know.
Okay.
And so I went to cooking school, became a pastry cook, and then went to college. And I went to a college called SUNY Purchase, which is in Westchester, New York, which is a little on the outskirts of the city, which I needed and I liked. And it was a very creative school, and it's the only school I applied to and I got in.
Hey.
And I was like, well, they had a music conservatory, a film major, visual arts, photography, acting, dancing. Every conservatory had a performing arts center on the campus.
Oh, that's fine.
So I learned everything that I wanted to learn within 3.5 years, and I graduated. And I studied music and I studied film, and not because I thought I was going to work in film, but just because I love the symbolism in film, and I love art and the expression of art and the feeling that it gives you through visualization or sound. I'm fascinated with it. So I graduated college and went to this like summer program where I stayed on an NYU campus, and they helped me get an internship. And then I worked at Bad Boy, which was Puff's label, or at the time his music company. And I wanted a publishing deal, but it was just so like male dominated, not respecting women. And I was like, whatever I do, I just want to be creative, and I want to have that creative outlet. Just like it was when I was cooking and being a pastry cook and dressing up the dishes. Like, it still was art to me, and it was that expression that I wanted to pursue, making money. I wasn't going to give that up. No way. So I was like Googling one day, and it was like I knew like maybe production could be it. So I would look up production jobs. And I came across this like production assistant training program that the mayor's office in New York had for film, television, broadcasting. And they basically train you how to be like the baddest PA. So, they can have a good name for themselves and get those tax incentives and keep the business booming in New York. Because no matter what, everybody films in New York, everybody films in Hollywood, Los Angeles, or whatever, right? It's those two places. So that was the incentive. So they did that. I did that for a whole month, went to class at like 7:30, left at like 5, and worked a job after that, and dedicated my life to freelancing for over 10 years now.
Hey, look at that.
And what a stressful journey it's been.
Yeah, it is. It is stressful, but when you enjoy it.
I mean, you enjoy it and then you don't. It depends. It's kind of like playing basketball. Like, every show is different. Every team that you're with is different. If you like your team and you guys play well together and you pass the ball and you shoot and it goes in and everybody respects each other, that's when you really enjoy what you do. Right? Everybody enjoys being respected. Everybody enjoys being loved or sharing love and sharing happiness. And but in this world of art and creativity, you have egos clashing, or you have tough bosses, and you got to learn how to deal with people who have psychopathy, and you don't understand what psychopathy is. Somebody just hella neurotic, telling you not to write on Post-its, stop buying Starbucks, and just like projecting their ish onto you constantly. And you just got to learn how to I remember I was 24 and had my first anxiety attack because of a job. And I was extremely stressed out.
What was that like? What caused it?
It was like my first time, I've never traveled out of the country. So I don't know what a country code, a state code is, or like whatever. And I'm here working on this documentary style program for the History Channel. And it was Robinson Crusoe's Island. So we were the guys were going out to this island with no electricity, and we had to find boats, and I'm 24. I've never done anything in this level, on this caliber. And she was telling me she's like, you don't know what a country code is, or she was just so mean to me. And I was like, I have to chuck it up. And then I was in a relationship that was just not good, At
the same time?
The same time. And that was super stressful on me. And then just one day the train was so crowded, and I remember holding on and just getting a little irritated. I had my headphones on, Jay-Z's playing, and I couldn't hear anymore. And then I had to take them out. I couldn't breathe. And I just squatted on the ground in a crowded train. And only one man who looked homeless reached out to me. And there was one magical seat on this packed train. And he sat me down in the train and it was asking me questions, and I was trying to catch my breath. And I was like, am I pregnant? Like, what's going on with me? Like, and I just needed to eat protein. And like, I realized, because we don't know what stress does to our bodies when you're young. You choose stress. You think it's normal. You allow yourself to feel the stress and you keep it on you. And wow, like, my body, there's been a couple of times where my body couldn't handle it anymore. The last time it happened to me, I was about 33 years old, and my body was like, all right, we're done. Are you done? Because we're done. Like, my body couldn't take it anymore, so I just had to let it all go. And, like, again, I feel like the divine comes in and saves me a lot. And gives me what I need to understand. Again, it all comes back around. We have control over our life. I chose my career. I didn't give that up. It's taken me to different avenues. I'm still manifesting things that I want. And oftentimes, again, we don't know what we're manifesting. Like, I don't say, oh, my boyfriend has to have this type of career. But then all of a sudden, oh, my boyfriend is an artist. And oh, all of a sudden, I didn't always know that I would manage you. But the things that I wanted aligned me to manage you and help you, get to where you need to go. And because I'm writing down, I want to manifest me working in music, not working in reality TV anymore. I want to manifest, and then all of a sudden, I apply to Red Bull and I sometimes I meditate and I imagine myself being there, not knowing if I even have the gig. 3 months later, I'm still meditating that. And then I get an interview to be an executive producer, but then they give it to somebody else, but want to offer me a music producing position. And it's like, oh, so I'm being guided because This is the things that I've asked for. So, surrendering is the biggest process of manifesting. And again, just like you materialize something, you can dematerialize it. Sometimes you do whatever you do and it takes you to where you need to go. And then you have to destroy it and rebuild either within it or something else. And that's another big part, like death and rebirth. The seasons, just like the seasons, like if you pay attention to nature and you realize we're the only ones that resist so much. I'm not minus the chaos and abuse. I'm not talking about those things, but I'm talking about the natural flow state of things like death. We're afraid of death. We don't want to die. No, like everybody's afraid, but it's because they're afraid to live.
They're afraid of a lot of different adversity. Just
Everything.
adversity in general.
You could be afraid of, I think we're most afraid of uncertainty. We want to feel safe. We want to feel secure. We want to know that we're protected, right? And the truth of the matter is someone next door to you just got shot by somebody and you don't know why or what. And then, right? It's like, that's why it's important to meditate. That's why it's important to consume the right things. Like, if you can't watch the news, don't watch the news. Or if the news is making you feel a certain way, don't watch it. Your reality does not have to be what's going on in Quebec today. Your reality, and again, I'm not saying ignore life and the things that happen. Say your prayers for everything, but be mindful of your energy and remember that as much negativity as there is in the world, there's also light and love, and you have to be that and you have to practice that. And I think that's important too.
And you have to be deliberate with that because that's, a lot of times we could talk about it all we want, but like you need to make those moves. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel you. Like sometimes I'll be so out of the loop with shit and it's like something like he'll be like, oh, a movie, right? Like, and I'm like, and even though I love film, but it's like I be very deliberate. At least I try to be, about certain things. It's like, I follow who I follow on Instagram, but I don't like try to pay no mind to it because where your focus goes, your energy flows. So what you're
say that again.
Where your focus goes, your energy flows, and it's every single time. And I've learned it because that, the whole like manifesting thing too, and the whole meditating. What I like to do or recommend to people too is something a little different. I call it self-assessment. So self-assessment, I think, is a step in between that or around that. Like you're not meditating, but you get into like a meditative state, I believe, when you're self-assessing and you do it so much that, shit is just bound to happen. So I always recommend people to get into that. Like if you don't maybe know how to manifest yet or get into that, just self-assess, try to figure out who you are as a person.
I was going to say there's different forms of meditation, right? Like there's complete quietness and quieting the mind. There's guided meditations that will take you somewhere else to another dimension. There's breath work. There's listening to music and imagining things. Like, whenever you leave this plane, it's a meditation. It's a deep thought, or no thought at all, but you're still leaving this plane, and you're traveling off through your mind's eye. Like sleep. Sleep is a form of meditation. You're at your most rested state, and to the point where your subconscious is breaking down the symbols that were impressed upon you during the day. We need to always express what has been impressed upon us. And that's another thing, we have to understand the power of the mind and study the mind. And the mind controls everything. The mind controls the way the heart beats. So like you said, like where your focus goes, your energy flows. And we all manifest whether we know how to take control of our manifestations or not.
Yeah, we do it without even realizing it.
Right.
And I see many people, and I actually you see people complaining about things, or whatever the case is. You just see people just going about their life, and when you see that from your perspective, you're like, damn, like you're just gonna keep manifesting that. You know what I'm saying? But also back to that perspective. Like perspective, I think is so important. And there's a speaker that I follow called Inky Johnson. Now Inky Johnson, talks about it huge, but it's like crazy because like he brings on things like we're talking, like things that you manifest, right? But you don't see it from that angle. You don't see it, and you just always are seeing the negative. You know what I'm saying? Like you get into maybe, I don't know, your house burns down, right? And you're bugging out about that. But then it's like, yo, what was that saving you from? That perspective shift, versus, okay, yeah, you're upset the house burned down. You probably lost everything or whatever. But it's like people don't have that belief that it happened for a reason and that it was meant to be. And so people automatically don't think of those sides. And I've kind of shifted my life to where when things happen now, like if I get a flat tire, oh, okay, it stopped me from maybe getting into a worse accident. It's that perspective shift.
Right. Changing your mind about something and finding the blessing in it, and being grateful throughout whatever happens to you. And knowing that the universe is working for you and not against you, that I think is something that if we all remember and keep note of, it will help us be progressive and move on quicker.
But it could be hard. That's the thing. People tell you, people get exhausted of that. People get exhausted of the pressure. Like it's another kind of corny phrase, but it's so fucking true. Is like pressure makes diamonds. I'm a firm believer of that. So people get exhausted of the adversity, of those things. Because, you got to like always trust the process. I tell people that all the time. Like just trust the process. But people get exhausted through that process because everyone's process is quicker. One person's process may be a year, 2 years, whatever. I mean, our process, I believe, for the whole time we're here on this planet, and even after that, it's all a process. But people get stressed out in those moments of adversity. They get exhausted, mentally exhausted, physically exhausted, so they can almost either give up on seeing that perspective shift or just get to that point of not caring because it's so exhausting, or try to get numb to it. That's when people just try to get numb and use different drugs and whatnot so they cannot feel it, So it's like you just got to really have that faith and kind of hold on and really literally just trust it, and you have to have that perspective shift no matter how hard it is.
No, 100%. I think that, even beyond drugs, there's all kinds of forms of addictions, whether you've been neglected as a child and, try to find relationship to relationship or, shopping, gambling, all of these kinds of things, sex, all of these things without meaning or purpose and, kind of just giving yourself away because you need to be distracted. And that's where that power comes in, to remember your power and to remember, again, you're like sharing energy with people and things, or feeding your ego, or, wasting your money away, or, you can't live in survival mode or have a fear operated life if you do want peace. You have to choose peace. You have to choose surrender. And even when it does hurt, it's okay to hurt. Like when you're weak is when you're being strong. And that's that transformation. That's the night of the soul, the dark, the shadow work, as a lot of spiritual workers call it. is like facing the music and holding yourself accountable for what's not working for you. And if your own mentality is not and your own actions aren't working for you, then you have to step it up, find the discipline to say, okay, I'm going to make a different choice for my life, and then renew your whole existence around you by taking control and surrendering and saying, all right, I don't know where I'm getting my next dollar from. Unemployment screwed me. I'm back behind my rent. I only applied to one job because I don't want to apply to every job, because every job is not the job that I want or that I feel I'm worth. And it's like that faith, that belief that if this doesn't work out for me because I want this to work out for me, then I say, okay, it's fine because something else is working out for me that's better than what I thought this would do for me. Because God hears me, right? I said this is what I want. How do I know whatever's going to happen that's going to take me to get there? I didn't pave out this yellow brick road. I just said this is what I want the destination to show up as. And I have to accept that. And be in of acceptance of that, whether it's people leaving your life because they want to, whether it's you changing where you live and changing your environment, whether you're changing your diet, whether you're changing your mindset, stop watching TV, get off of social media, whatever it is that's going to make a better you and make you more healthy and more productive and active in this lifetime. That's what we have to do.
Do you think it's easier for you sometimes? Because I believe everyone is a creator, in different aspects, right? But because like you're definitely a creator, so do you feel like it helps you to that? Do you think it helped you? Like, because you've been creating for a long time, overall, and you as a person, do you think that helps you? Do you think that helped you maybe with your belief towards all of this? Do you think it kind of shifted that a little bit?
What's it? Surrendering?
Just a whole being able to really like kind of just a lot of the spiritual talk and just being very in tune, because a lot of people don't have those beliefs or know that it works and they think it's bullshit to that. But like, do you feel like the fact that you're a creator, that you now believe, oh wow, I can create my reality, stuff like that?
I'm not a pessimistic, unloving. I have strong convictions. I was born here with something bigger than what my environment even provided with me as a child. I definitely chose this life. I chose my parents, what I went through, all of those things, right? There's a belief of that too. That's also this spiritual talk. Like I made my choice of how I wanted to get through whatever going through and be able to do the work that I'm doing. Like healing, right? Healer, to be a healer. I am a healer, right? Or I have the potential to heal somebody. I'm a lover. So I went to this breathwork facilitation. So I'm certified in facilitating breathwork on people. And they asked us around the room what kind of animals we are. And I didn't, without knowing whatever, or I just said I'm a hummingbird. And that's what the first thing that came to me and slipped out of my mouth. I'm like, okay, that's cool. And I look it up, and it's a Native American totem for healing. It is the healer. And then I was like, well, what are the odds? And then when I was 17, when I became Christian for some time, this guy was speaking in tongues around my hands and telling me that I am a healer. And that's when I was 17. And, I grew up in a broken home, you could say, and a lot of, you can't see your mom in therapy. And I've been taken out of therapy in elementary school, in my school by a psychiatrist just to play games with me and ask me what's going on in my home. So, and I was told, shh, don't say anything. And, so you almost feel like there's a sense of embarrassment to be had or whatever. But, just kind of going through it, getting through it, and making my life whatever I want it to be. Getting out of New York City. New York City stressing me out. I got to get out. Okay, I've done everything I've done here. I need to do something else. That's bravery, right? You leave your family. If they live on the East, you go to the West, you begin anew. Like, you have to jump off the cliff every time and trust the universe to make it happen, period. In order to break the mold, or in order to be new. If I want to be new, I got to do something new.
You gotta hit that reset button. That's something we were talking. A lot of people agree with that. We had Nene on the show. a couple episodes ago. I don't know if you have her Instagram's The Nini Show. I don't know if you follow her.
She's friends with Imani, isn't she?
Yeah, I think she is.
Yeah,
friends with
I
him.
met her.
I met her back in Jersey. We had her on the pod years ago, and then we were on hers. Yeah, she's a super dope individual, and she moved out here as well too from over there. And it's like some people need it.
There's trees.
Yeah.
I've seen hummingbirds. There's sun. There's open space. There's good healthy food. There's less crazy traffic in your commute, and I get again, it's all about what we want to make it.
What animal are you, Zain?
You already know the animal.
Nah, what animal?
The raccoon, man.
The raccoon? That's
my spirit.
That's your spirit animal?
Yep, definitely.
Do you know what that means? Does that
I don't know what it means.
To me, I just feel like they're super cunning and respectable at that. Because
Interesting.
they could just ransack your stuff.
Oh, the raccoon. That makes sense because of your raccoon videos.
Yeah. The chill hop. You ever see those videos?
No.
It's like lo-fi music, but it's like
I love lo-fi music, by the way.
Yeah.
And we might have to send you his playlist.
I
Yeah,
could
so-
focus with lo-fi.
So
Oh.
it's chill hop. It's just pretty much the same.
Oh,
type
the
of
raccoon
music.
in the bed.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's chilling in the bed.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I watch that YouTube all the time.
But then there's another
He has
one.
the clock and
Yeah,
everything.
yeah.
Doom, doom,
And he's just
doom,
walking.
and it's raining sometimes
Yeah.
in the window, and then
Yeah.
it's not, and then it turns into a different time, and the music is still playing.
Animator's good. I gotta find an animator. We might need to work. We might need to connect. But no, there's another one where he's walking.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
he's
just-
walking with a yellow raincoat.
I have
You
to
gotta
see
say that
it.
one. And we just always mess with him because at the studio, that's his vibe. That's always if Zane's there, it's that chill hop with the raccoon just walking.
Cunning, and respected.
Yeah.
I'm still waiting for him to get to his destination. Like one day the video's
The
gonna show
whole
him.
point
get
is
to-
that you gotta keep going.
Even if it's a rest stop, man. I feel like he's got to stop for water or something. He needs a break. He needs a fucking break, man. That raccoon's be on it.
Perseverance.
Yes, but that's super super dope, yo. Any well, you got a lot of stuff going on. You got Skip Film School.
Oh yeah, I have skip film, so I have to upload courses. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of dropped the ball on that. Like it took a. I wanted to like provide courses for people.
Yeah.
On how to like be a production assistant. That's really good because I in this business some people really don't know what to do. I was trained, so I know the do's and the don'ts, and I know how to work hard. And you're not supposed to sit down as a PA. Like there's so many things to know, walkie lingo. So I wanted to like be helpful and create.
No, you were
like,
dropping gems in there.
Thank you. Oh, you see?
Yeah, I
That's
signed
right.
up. I
You
signed
did
up.
sign
You
up.
missed it. I got you.
It was such an expensive platform that I had to switch the platform. So I had to re-upload some of the videos. But I have like I think the production assistant one is like free. You could donate $5 if you want, but like
We'll
it's
talk. There's
free.
other options as well too.
All right, put me on because
I'm
I just want to at least have that so people can use it. And if I
Exactly.
do like a couple of videos here or there, then people can at least have that resource because I just want, it was either putting together a textbook or making some videos online, which I find that they're helpful in my opinion because I literally make slideshows and make notes and like put people on to what walkies look like, all kinds of stuff. And I break it down. Like I definitely spent some time on that. So yeah, Skip Film School is something that I have. So I'll upload.
Hey,
the
and stuff
courses.
I've learned from you. I've shared it. We've been filming.
Okay.
Jackie's she's another jack of all trades.
Okay.
Yeah, her real name Jack. But I don't like the phrase jack of all trades, master of none. I say jack of all trades, master of all. All right, jack of all trades, master of all. All right, that's what y'all are. But nah, like super super fire content on there, and I loved the name of it because it reminded me of, for some reason, something like that. Like the name was very creative. It was a very like
Therapy
skip
without
film
a
school.
degree.
For some
Skip
reason, it
film
just
school. Yeah, I mean,
it just
like,
reminded me of that.
don't spend a lot of money in film school. Like, what are they even teaching you? You have to go out and you have to do it. You have to see how people work and you have to see what they do when they work in order to get the experience. There's no learning as best as the actual experience, and that's fact. Like, there's textbook, which is like, the basics, right? Okay, I read, I understand. Oh, this is what this means. These are the departments. Okay, cool. But when you're on set, You see how the art department acts. You see how directors act. You see how actors act. You have to work with the actors. They might cry because the director yelled at them. When you're a PA, a lot of people don't give a crap about you. They'll be like, give me a hot brick. You want to know, well, what's a hot brick, right? You get nervous. Oh, I don't, what's a hot brick? It means a charged walkie battery. You should, if you're a PA, you should have a few on your belt. You know what I'm saying? You should have a pouch with Sharpies in it and this, that, and the other. And like, if you're the prepared production assistant and you know the director or the AD's favorite drink and how they like their coffee, you will be called back to set and you will have a job and you will be referred to your next job. And there's a whole politics and a whole work ethic that you have to have if you're going to work in film. A lot of things have changed. People use their phones. There's YouTube people, there's TikTok people, but the film is a whole nother different ball game, and so is television. Film and television, we're talking about linear, we're talking about professionalism, and that's how I want to help people. It's like, this is what being professional means, this is what it looks like. If you want to get by, here's some tips, and this is ways for you to grow if you want to do film school and all of those things. If you want to study an NYU book or cinematography, that's different. But you should at least know how to have professional etiquette in film and television or in production, period. Events, all of that. This stuff is good for all of those things. If you want to be a director, you don't have to be a production assistant necessarily, unless you don't know anything about film and you want to learn about that. But if you want to learn how to direct it, you got to learn how to direct. You got to learn, shots and terminology and all of those things. And some people don't know. We think we got to work from the bottom and then there's positions up where people are going to give you that opportunity. If you want to be a director, then direct whatever and put it out. You are the director now. If you want to be a singer, you're a singer. Just claim it. If you're a poet, if you write poetry, you're a poet. Like a lot of us also don't give ourselves the blessing that we deserve, right? I want to be a therapist. No, I am a therapist. I don't need a therapy degree to say that I'm helpful. And I say, oh, have you ever thought about it this way? And oh, that's interesting. Maybe I don't have an answer for you because I'm going through stuff myself, right? Therapists need the most therapy. Period. You're talking to all these different energies all day, trying to help, or maybe don't even care. You're like, oh, it's another hour. Oh, this person just, who knows? Right? So, yeah, I think that's probably why creativity has stayed in my life more than therapy has, or like actually being a professional therapist, because I probably would have been drained. And I probably would have been talking about it at home, and I'm not even allowed to talk people's business. And I'm like, this girl, she's talking about this. Thank God I'm like this, like I wouldn't want to have to.
You got to flex that no muscle. That's what I've learned when you try like start labeling yourself as whatever, or you start getting in a field or whatever the case is. You gotta learn how to flex that no muscle, and you got to learn when people are just not helping themselves
and not helping you.
Yeah, vice versa. Yeah, it's a whole entire process of that.
Yeah, don't be a yes man. A yes man, like there's a book called Energetic Boundaries, Your Energetic Boundaries, and there's different kinds of boundaries that have been tainted with that we might not have, or that might be too strong. You ever hear you got to wall up? Like that's when your boundary is like too tough and you need to like, let it be a little flexible. But with remembering what you won't allow. Like, know what you won't allow physically, know what you won't allow spiritually, know what you won't allow mentally. And there's different types of energy vampiring or, penetrating that protective space of yours that you really need to put up that, nah, I'm not allowing this, or I'm not allowing that. Like, that's like the highest degree of self-love, because that also shows, your own discipline and your own understanding of yourself and what you will and won't allow. And that's really important too. So once I started learning that, I've been slowly but surely building that up and practicing that. And that helps a lot.
Yeah, and shifting that into different avenues of life.
Right.
Word. What's can you also tell them a little bit what is Thanks for Tuning In? I love that name as well.
Oh, thank you. That's my company name. I have taken out an LLC because I'm trying to be grown and, do the business thing, because, we learn how to be investors and create assets for ourselves. So because I have this skill set of production and putting, budgets together and creating content, I created an LLC and I called it Thanks for Tuning In. And it's also like kind of spiritual, like tuning inward. Like you're like, I want to make impactful content. So, and positive content, so thank you for tuning in. It's just kind of synonymous with that.
Double entendre over there. Let me find out. Okay.
So that's my business name. So sometimes I do business with that entity.
That's fire. Yeah, because I'm gonna say you got that. You got the film school. What else? Anything else right now that if anyone wants to support Lyric, how could they support Lyric right now?
Well, okay, I manage an artist named C5, and he makes really good music. So follow official C5 on Instagram. His music is also therapeutic, and people will love it. And then I have a little social media page called Feel Lighter. That what I wanted to do was create like a monthly event, and maybe I'll still get to do it in the future, but like a monthly event that's therapeutic, because then the pandemic hit and I couldn't do it anymore. But like painting vision boards as one event, or then something else where people are like communing together and having therapy through art together. I wanted to do that, so I have a little, I post memes and stuff like that on there. But yeah, like if you support me, just share content that inspires you, and just pray for me.
1000%. That's so fire. and I love the vibe. Zoom in all the way.
Pray.
I love how you said about the vision boards, because we were doing before the pandemic, we were doing in-person vision board sessions called Wings and Visions. So I bring bring to Applebee's, and you get a free vision board, free appetizer, and then we make a little digital.
No way.
Yeah, Wings and Visions.
I should just go for the wings.
He used to just go.
You already can help me with the vision. I'm here for the wings.
Yeah, that's what I would do, because and we just go over there, we kick it, we do like some self-assessment and stuff like that, and then we make a digital vision board. Wings and Visions, because I feel like sometimes people have ideas. And that's just like me, like what I like helping people. Like if you say I want to start this, I don't know, I can like, we should do that. Either help you to just really help you out. So I was like, all right, we got to do that. We got to create a thing and then go over the goals, because I'm very for that as well. Like you need to speak into existence, you need to visualize it, all that stuff.
Get clarity. You gotta get you gotta get quiet to get clarity.
Word.
And then once you have the clarity, you write it down, and you say it out loud, and you start affirming. Affirming is a prayer, and you start saying, this is happening for me. Companies want to hire me. Good people surround me. Authentic relationships gravitate towards me. All I have are authentic relationships. Anyone who's dishonest repels themselves from me naturally. I say these things, and then sometimes the people that want to get to know me, and like because of what I do or something, you have those kind of people in LA. They drop like a fly, and I don't even have to like have any confrontation about it. I could just cut somebody off, and they understand. They bow respectfully, like, I know I ain't shit. It's like, all right, like we know. And I don't have to fight nobody. I just keep affirming. Authentic relationships are attracted to me. You just keep commanding over and for your life, and nothing can fuck with you when you continuously do those things. And that's how I feel about that.
Word. That's how you got to do it. And the last thing, too, I really wanted to ask you, too, is so while doing that, right, while being very authentic to yourself and also just kind of going with the process and going through things, let's just say now, because like what you're offering, right, you're offering a platform for people to learn film and whatnot, right, on their own. What would you recommend now for someone that's like kind of creating on their own? Didn't go to school for it, but wants to get into, maybe a business. Like I'm always for people, hey, independent, create your own stuff. But there's also those people that want to maybe work for, like I found you when I started watching Everyday Struggle. You were Complex. So that's how I
got it.
I would hear your name in the back, and I just loved the vibes, and it was so hilarious, and it was just dope. I started following you, and I was like, wow, she's like really, really dope. That's cool.
Oh, thank you.
That's how it started. So with that, let's just say someone wants to work in a complex or wherever, you know what I'm saying? But also still being authentically themselves, and not try to, play whatever games or whatever. Or maybe they didn't go to school for it. Like, what would you recommend to them to try to do to get into those different doors?
You don't need to go to school to work at a media company.
Word.
1. You don't need to go to school to work on a film set. 2. What you do need is a connection.
She's like, that you do need.
It is about who you know. I'm gonna just say that with everything. It is about who you know. That is extremely important. However, you do want to have a skill set. You want to know how to write a professional email. You want to know a thing or two about a thing or two. So don't be dumb, but you don't have to go to school for these things. What was your question again? I digress. Did I?
Just really how to just like while still being your authentic self. Like, how
Oh
can you
yes.
try to
Okay.
get
Cool. Thank you. That was it. I just want to say the school part. Put people on so they know. Don't waste your money, or time. But I would say stay humble, and you don't have to pretend to be somebody you're not. You don't have to be a part of the boys club. You have to authentically stay true to yourself. I'm a professional. I'm here to participate in a goal. I'm not here to work against you. And I'm not here to be a part of a facade, because the fact of the matter is, yes, this is a company complex, for example, but we're all not getting paid as much as we potentially could or should be getting paid, right? You're struggling and you're living with someone, and, you know, things like that happen. And, you know, yeah, just don't bend because you think it'll help you. At least that's if that's what I associate with happiness. I don't have to
100%.
pretend to get along. I don't have to be mixy or politic with people who aren't genuine. And people think that. And some people do get, I'm not going to say that doesn't get you somewhere, because sometimes I work with people and I'm like, how did you get this job? And how are you still working? And, you know, but hey, like, it's not my, I don't want to judge people. I don't, you know, it is what it is. Like, I've had to let go many times in my career of, you know, things that maybe didn't work out. Like, as a freelancer, every job that we have is an investment. And if something doesn't work out, or like, you know, your boss ended up being mad at you, or that coworker was talking down on your name and he was at that company longer than you were, so people are on his side, like, all of that shit, you got to let it go. And you got to remember, you got to stay true to yourself. You got to do what you want to do. Follow Joe Budden, because Joe Budden will explain that more than anything. Don't fold. You know, him and I had that in common, where we didn't think that one thing was the only thing, and people needed to be control of that thing, or if we're not with them, we're nothing. Like, don't believe the hype either. You know, without that show, you're nothing. Without that job, you're nothing. No, continue on being great, because you are the value. You deserve to be respected in the workplace. All of those things, you know, and yeah, that's how to stay authentic in situations like that, for example.
Yeah, that's definitely powerful. And never forget too that we live in a world now, you can create your own stuff and you can learn it all again. Like this dude, right? You learned everything. You didn't go to no film school.
YouTube will teach you a lot. YouTube has been helping me for a long time. Even some TikTok videos put me on. I'm like, I can't buy an ATM machine. I can't buy a vending machine. What's that hack? Like, you know, like there's all of these things that, you know, we can learn within 60 seconds if we just get introduced to it and then take the research a step further. You know, like the information is out there. There's so many different ways to make money, and yet we're not really thinking about all of these things. You know, but like, again, like you can make life easy or you can make life hard for yourself. You got to make a choice. A company is a company. It doesn't mean anything. What you do is more important, and what you bring to the table is more important than the company or the show or the film or the song or the album or whatever it is that you're working on. If your heart is in it and you're here to make something special and amazing, it will be felt. It will be seen. And, you know, I'm not cocky or anything, but everything that I've left has turned to shit.
Word.
And that's a fact. So I'm just gonna
just
gonna say that and keep it real, you know, for one second. But like, you know, not that I wish that, I don't wish that, but like I know my worth and I know my value, and that keeps me authentic. My authenticity keeps me alive, and it keeps me doing good work.
And if you keep doing it, I'm another firm believer of that as well too. Like, even though I'm nowhere, like I'm all about the small wins. You know what I'm saying? The small wins, and I've had tremendous amount of small wins. And it's like, those wouldn't have happened unless I just did those things with my heart. You know what I'm saying? Like, obviously, we always have the main goal. Like, I'm a very firm believer of having that balance. of having those huge goals and those huge dreams and stuff like that. But then also the small ones to get you there, you know, the small steps and all that. And it's like, you have to go through all of that, and you have to do that all with your heart, you know. You always have to, and everything else will come with it. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, it sounds very cliche, and it sounds like people would be like, oh yeah, you could say that and cool, but yo, I need $1. But yo, like, I'm a firm believer that it will come. You know what I'm saying? Like, me and this guy, we've worked, we've gone, we've done things, and as long as we just work and just do it, and things come. And then when you look back, sometimes you need to like step and really look back and reflect a little bit. And really notice, like, yo, like, okay, wow, that happened because of that and that.
Right.
Like,
and then I'm grateful for it. Like,
yeah.
even if I had to deal with some mess within that, I did that, you know, and like, that's the blessing. Like, me doing that, no one knows what's going to happen on the behind the scenes, right? But me doing that has gotten me to do this. And me doing this has gotten me to do that. And like, there's a blessing within those opportunities. That's why we have to embrace the challenges and the bullshit and say, it's okay. It's all good. Feel it. That's what I was going to say earlier. Like when we was talking about the pain, right? Like it's okay to be in pain. It's okay to be weak. Feel it, feel into it, cry, get stressed, and then let the shit go. As best as you can, let it go. And it's the finding the hacks on how do I let it go? Right? How do I let it go? It's hard. Like it's almost like our nerves also have memory in them, and it wants to stay stimulated. And like this, like, how do we let it go? You meditate. How do you let it go? You listen to your favorite song. You know, if someone's treating you bad, you might listen to a good love song. Someone treating you nice. Change your own vibration, because you have that power and that ability, and then you can make yourself have a better day because you love yourself and you honor yourself and you respect yourself, and because you want to feel good. It's your life. We're not here for a long time.
Not at all. Yeah, mic drop after that one. We not. Oh, yo, but that was fire, yo. Lyric, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate
Zain,
you.
do you have any last questions? I feel like I could be here forever, but I know your battery was going to die. It's the only reason we're stopping this podcast is because of his batteries and, you know, stories and stuff. If not, this would be like a 12-hour pod because we got so much to chat about. So hopefully maybe we'll get a part 2 one day. We'll see.
I'm down.
Look at that. Dope.
I'm down to do IG Live. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What part of filming did you love? Like, just in general, like that whole process.
I really liked the art department. If I stayed in film, that's what I wanted to do. But it's hard to get under somebody's wing and them to take you on as, like, you know, you have to be an art PA or a prop person. But I had the most fun. And that was challenging, too. I had to figure out how to use this Samsung phone. That was weird. I really didn't. It was like the
coming at his life.
It was like the cheapest phone I've ever seen. This is like years ago, you know, when the phones, it was the worst trap phone I'd ever seen. All right. And I was like, I got to use this. I have to, every scene, I got to put the beads back. It was like a fashion show. And I had to it was like a lot of, reset the scene. Yeah. But again, art is what makes me happy. Like, I wasn't going to necessarily make a blueprint for a set, so I'm not a production designer, but art department is where I would want to be. But I coordinated, production managed. I know how to AD my ass off, like rolling, this, that, keep people on schedule.
That's all right. That's all right, D.
Yeah. Pictures up. All right. 15 minutes.
Yeah. Yep. All that sounds to the boom operator and assistant director over there.
I've held the boom like this on an independent film, like, and my arms is hurting.
Yeah, that's how you burn. Listen, it's a workout.
It is.
Shit. Yo, this is no joke.
It is. Yeah.
Start thinking of creative ways and shit. It's like, yo, all right, I'm gonna rest it right here. This is my spot. I rest it right on here on the headphones. Yeah. It's a process. Anything else, Zain?
No, that was it. I just wanted to know what you loved about the film aspect.
Yeah.
I like,
I like, you know, knowing what goes behind it. You know what I mean? Like what it takes, or, you know, I have a real appreciation for film, and I'm a little critical. You know what I'm saying? I'll be like, that was awful. Or who decided to cast that person? Like I'll do shit like that. Who wrote that line? Or who wrote the script? Like I'm very much, you know, a little critical, but I'm also very appreciative of the art because I know what it takes to get that scene, or like that person killed that, or that makeup looks great, or you know, like whatever it is, like yeah.
Right. I recently watched an old movie that apparently I've never watched when I was younger. Virtuosity. It was with Denzel and Russell Crowe, and I watched the movie, and like the only woman lead in there, it was like they should have just called her explainer. Because all she did was just explain what the plot was going. I'm like, why is she here? And then her daughter got kidnapped. Like, oh, that's why. Like, it wasn't just random. But I just felt like it was funny. Knowing what I know, I can't watch film the same way I could anymore.
It's fact.
Did you see the movie I Care a Lot on Netflix?
Yes, I did.
Best worst movie.
You know, like, I mean, I didn't feel personal about it. Like, okay, bet this happens.
So
You
was
know
it
what I
best
mean?
worst? It was. I mean,
I've read some tweets that
Yeah,
people
that's right,
were
I'm not saying
mad
best.
about that film. Like people like, I can't believe they're making art about, you know, people taking advantage of senior citizens. And it's like, well, I mean, if this is a hustle and it's happening, why not make a fantasy film about a potential two fucked up people? You know, it's like two evils against one thing, and like that is just not the right old lady to do that to. You know what I mean? So, but the woman won, didn't she? She won.
well,
The one that was doing the
I'm trying to remember the ending.
spoiler alert.
Yeah. Spoiler alert.
She was triumphant. Something happened at the end.
She got shot.
That's right.
She got shot. Karma.
It had to
Yeah.
happen that way because there was no.
You can't, right? But and again, right? Like this is art. So you know, oh, it's the worst movie because I can't believe, right? They're showing this, but
Oh,
it's
no,
like
I didn't mean
this
worse
is
like
like
that. I meant worse.
no, yeah, no, but this is what people were saying, right? And it's like, yeah, this is karma. This is karmic. Like, I've never done something that I wasn't supposed to do without something fucking happening. Like, oh, like you wanna break the law and do this? Well, how about that got taken away from you? Or you wanna, like, you know, like everything has a consequence. That's a universal law. Can I also recommend another book?
Yes.
Okay. The Kabbalion is a very logical, methodical, universal law, the law of vibration, the law of polarity. You know, like you always hear, what goes around comes around. And it's not even that's in karma. It's like whatever I choose to do, every cause has an effect. And so the Kabbalion breaks it down like that. Cause and effect. Whatever the cause is, it has an effect, and vice versa. It just keeps it going.
Circling.
So that's why we have to make a decision. What do we want? Do I want to give in to my distractions and my addictions, or do I want a better life for myself? Do I believe that I can create a new identity for myself, or do I have to attach myself to the memories of the past? Do I have to believe that no good thing can happen for me, or that this won't happen? Or can I be all right with knowing that this might not happen and it's cool because either way I'm grateful? And that's when shit really changes.
Your bombs, mad bombs right now. I need my soundboard. You need your own podcast.
Thanks. I'm just not dedicated. I have one. It's like, it's random.
Okay.
I randomly give little gems. I talk to myself, which I think that's probably why I'm sad.
What? Why?
About making them. Like I have to talk to myself for 10 minutes on the podcast with no one else interrupting me and like asking me questions. People like listening to me. They do. They're like, can you please put another one? Can you please, when are we putting another? We got to have, and I'm like, I promise I'll do it. And I don't even do it. Like, it depends on what state I'm in. Sometimes I need myself and I can't give to other people. So it's like, I can't commit myself to everybody in the universe.
Yeah.
You know, like I commend you for this. I commend Joe Budden for that. Like that's dedication.
2 times a week, yeah, and everything, yeah. It's mad dedication. It's commitment.
But I do have one. It's on Apple. It's on Spotify. It's called Short Love Reflections.
Short Love Reflections. That's
Yeah,
fire.
by Lyric Perez.
That's fire.
And it's just like little 10, 8-minute, 5-minute, 6-minute little, hi, everybody. Thank you for being here.
Short
And
Love
today I wanted to
Reflections.
talk about this. And so it's just like, because nobody wants to listen to me talk for like 30 minutes or an hour. At least I wouldn't.
Never know.
That's too much. We need interaction, So like 10 minutes, I feel like it's good. You want a little word for the day. It's a little positive listen. So when I'm in when I'm ready, I'll do another one. I have the equipment, so.
All right. Well, if you ever need a co-host, even if it's for one episode,
you
let me
can
know.
just tell me how to do it, and then I'll the Zoom and
yes,
the this.
we could do all that, or even
Yeah.
an IG live maybe one day.
That's what I was saying. Yeah, we could. I'm definitely down to do that. Mm-hmm.
We will make it happen, yo.
Yeah.
So also at the end of the show, we just have you shout out something you think is dope, something you think is slept on that not many people know about. Could be a small business, could be a book, could be a podcast, movie, or anything. Before you get to that, I want to say the only thing that movie was trash about that I hated, and me and him were arguing all last night, was she not getting out of that car.
Oh, when she was in the water,
fam.
she would have been dead. But that was to show.
You good?
That was to show like her aggression and like her determination. She was very masculine.
Yeah.
She had the short, straight hair. Like it was like a woman empowerment film, low key. Like anything you can do, I can do better. And like not only that, but like low key, let's talk about the subliminal behind it. Homie was short. He was a dwarf, right?
Yep.
So it's like, oh, I'm over here competing with a dwarf. Like, what you? It was like, why couldn't she be with a grown man? Why it had to be a dwarf? Like, that's disrespectful, low key. But I'm gonna leave that there, because patriarchy is patriarchy. I'm not stupid. I'm not. You're not slick. I see it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not stupid. I pay attention. But no, it's not realistic. It's a movie. However, it showed she's a bad bitch, right? She gonna get away with that. This evil woman, because like just like the divine works for us, that dark energy be work, be blessing people with ego type shit, money, financial. Oh, look, I got this bag, but you miserable, right? Let's keep it real. You know what I'm saying? People who sell their souls for cash. What is that doing for you at the end of the day? Oh, I have this big space, but no kindness in my. That's not, fake friends. Everything's about a fake friend. I don't trust you. Trust issues. And it's like these people. You're not really that happy.
I gotta work on being happy. It's a process.
Yeah.
But what so all your shout outs, so we're gonna do.
Oh wait. You said, was there anything that I wanted to share with people, like creatively?
Yes.
All right, I'm gonna use this. I don't know why. Sometimes I don't. So C5, Swimming with a Pisces is the album. You should stream it.
Wait, what? What is it?
Swimming with a Pisces.
Oh, he might like that. He's
Spotify. Oh no, but you gotta listen to it. I'm serious. Spotify, iTunes, Tidal.
He's dating a Pisces.
Are you? Yeah. It's
we're playing that tonight.
Yeah, it's deep. And then I also helped produce this film called After the Rain, which is on iTunes and all like video on demand platforms. You could rent it. I really encourage people to look up the trailer. I helped produce it, and my friend acted, directed, and it's basically about a kid who goes viral with doing pranks, but does a prank on a police officer, gets locked up, comes out. He becomes a rapper and has a whole team telling him to live this life that he don't really live. And he puts on this persona, kind of like Tekashi. And it's a mockumentary. It's very funny, but it's also super fucking serious and like has a very heartfelt ending. So After the Rain, and that's REIGN, Rain.
That sounds fire.
After the Rain. And then I also have a poetry book, and I'm coming out with more.
Where can they find it?
Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, just Google love poems I've always wanted to hide.
Yo, I'm loving the titles. I'm loving these titles.
Yeah.
Love poems I wanted to hide.
I've always wanted to hide.
Always wanted to hide.
Because it's scary shit. You don't want everybody knowing you even talking about them, or like, you putting all your feelings out, or you don't know if the poem sounds whack, or
you wanted to hide.
Very vulnerable.
Yeah,
it's like a journal.
Something you always wanted to hide. That's fire.
Yeah. Thank you.
That's fire. You got to promote that more. You got to put
I
that.
know.
Let me
Sometimes, I'm even on a song on Swimming with the Pisces. I'm on the last song.
join the last
I'm
song.
on the last song.
Oh, that's
I came
fire.
back. I sing it. You see, I sing.
See,
Came
yeah,
back
you
to
bring
me.
it back. Look, all came full circle.
All of it
Yeah,
comes.
it comes-
Even working at Bad Boy, that was my first entertainment job, right?
Yeah.
I ended up working at Revolt. And I was at Puff's house pitching a
Yep.
show to him. And I was just like, I remember having a dream that night. I was in outer space and there was zero gravity. And it was like, oh my God, I made it. Like, you know what I mean? And then I went to his house and pitched him. And everybody is like so tense around him. You know, like people that work for him are very like, but like I was so at ease. And like, every time I was always around him, working around him, I was always like, all right, what's the politics? Like, when can I speak, or what can I do? But like, it went from not being able to shake his hand as an intern to like, thank you so much for making this happen. And, and being respected and appreciated for creating something for his platform, that it was just like, holy shit, who would have thunk it?
Got to speak into existence. You got to make it happen. You got to work. But you've been.
So it makes me, I'm not emotional today, but if I was, I would cry.
It's okay to cry. You
And
good
it's
cry?
like I have so much gratitude, and I have to remember to have so much gratitude for the little things. Gratitude, that's what happiness is. If you want to be happy, count your blessings. Stop for a moment and say, oh, my tire is flat. Oh my God, I'm alive. My parents are alive. Or, just count your blessings. Life is a blip.
Word.
Yeah.
And you only get one shot, at least that we know about. So, you know what I mean? Gotta really enjoy it, and you gotta trust the process. But yo, this is dope.
Create a beautiful life for yourself, because it's yours.
1,000%.
And you don't have to take shit from people, all right? Including yourself. Don't take your own shit from yourself. Stop giving yourself shit to deal with and clean it up. Don't, accountability. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? Figure it out and say, you know what? No more.
Sometimes you gotta ask yourself, who am I?
What do I want? What fulfills me? What makes me feel good? And that's how you get clarity. And then you don't say, this is what I want. You say, this is what I want to feel within this that I want.
Being mad direct.
Being mad direct,
You
said.
Yeah, you have to, because I fucked up with that. So I'm working on that now, trying to be more direct with it. But, all right, y'all. This was another episode of Therapy Without a Degree. Zain, you got anything else? You good? Lyric, this was fun. This was awesome. Again, thank you so much. Everyone go follow her. It's
Lyric Poeta.
Poeta.
Because my other one got taken away by the divine power of IG. So Lyric Poeta. Yeah.
Yes.
LYRICPOETA.
Follow her. Make it happen. Sign up for Skip Film School. Do it all. Check her out. And buy the book. We out of here. Peace.